Say hi to the camera.
We're bringing it up.
Hi. Oh, it's so bright. Wake up, Arvin. Whoa.
In the book, I was hoping they would get all three today.
I got so mad at work that I said I quit.
Record that. What's it say here? Heartfelt thanks to...
Mi familia, Bo, Mea, Chihai,
Hold it real still. There we go.
All our
Who's
posters.
that?
And Mama and Papa.
Who is that?
And
I don't know. Oh, hi, okay.
we got 2 rows.
Alright, so...
Everyone hold the poster.
Oh yeah. You love us. Love you, Emily.
This is her.
Say hello to Emery.
Who's Emery?
Is this on the right place or?
That's it. Hello, how are you? Hi, Mrs. Nguyen. Good to see you. You look very nice.
You do.
Thank you. That poster right there. That wonderful poster. Oh, is there anything you want to say?
Peace.
Peace?
gosh, ever go to sleep?
Next graduation, you're not invited.
No, those are,
There's a lot of students.
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we saw a couple young
You could have told me that from the
they're all the same.
Yeah.
This afternoon, may I introduce the Vice Chairman of the Baxter University Board of Trustees, Dr. Rob Martinez.
There we go. So, welcome. As we start, there are a few people I would like to bring to your attention who you won't be hearing from today, and whose work and dedication are essential for the success of the university. Would my fellow trustees please rise? Barb Cahill, Barry Cohen, Don Murphy, Pamela Rolfe, Wendy Weber, and Daryl Williams. I would also like to take a moment and thank President Daniel Church for his outstanding leadership, for his dedication and passion for our university, and to thank as well the excellent faculty, administrators, and staff who all work to make our shared vision a reality in the now. We're privileged to have with us also today our President Emeritus, Joe Pizzorno. Joe, would you please stand to be recognized? On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to welcome all of you who are here on behalf of graduating students. And all of you have an enormous portion of the credit that goes into these graduates. And you've given your time, you've given your money, you've given your patience, and in a number of instances, probably your body in support of their attaining their mission. You've probably cooked for them, you've cleaned for them, you've reassured them, given them prep talks, and your soon-to-be graduate students obviously hit you up for enormous amounts of support in forms of other forms than possibly money. More likely than not, you've been a guinea pig, and our school would allow you to have people talk about your bowel movements, check your pulses, look at your tongue, design exercise programs for you, and have you taste foods that heretofore may not have been in your recipe file. We'd like each of you who are here in support of a graduate to stand and to be recognized and to receive their love and appreciation. many challenges, and as the signs on some places say, watch us grow, without you, we will not grow. As we stand here together, united in mission, we count on you to grow our mission, to make it a possibility, to make it reality. Without your support, without each of you doing more for our profession to grow, we won't have the opportunities we've achieved today. From my graduation in 1985, with 35 of us on the platform, to this wonderful auditorium, I give thanks for the people who came before me and have sacrificed time and effort, and I ask you to make the same sacrifices and help us grow. Thank you.
At each commencement ceremony, we invite a graduating student.
Today, Vassar University will graduate 254 students in 11 degree programs. Within this class, our graduates come from 23 states and represent 12 different countries. They join more than 4,000 Vassar University alumni who have graduated in the last 27 years. The youngest who will graduate today is 22 years of age, and the eldest is 75. All of these persons have responded to a felt calling. People do not come to Vassar University on a lark or just to earn a college degree. They come because they sense a calling to a peculiar work for which this place uniquely can prepare them. Years ago, I heard a story of a young woman who sincerely believed that she was called by God to study for the priesthood. It was a time in which her church did not look favorably on women clergy, so she repressed her desire to study for some time, before finally giving in to the urging of the Spirit which led her to enter seminary. Although the culture around her was less than supportive of this particular plan for her life, she realized she could not do otherwise than to embrace it. After years of study and at length her long-sought ordination, she said the one thing that had brought her to realize that she must study theology and that it was not an option to continue to avoid answering the call was that she had noticed a very odd but consistent pattern in her experience. She observed that every time she spoke aloud about her faith in God, her lips tingled. She said it was as if her very cells were dancing because they were doing what they were supposed to do. And then she knew that she must respond. She must prepare herself to live in faithfulness to her calling. Dear friends, I believe that in this room today there are lips and hands and hearts in which the very cells are dancing, because those who sit before us have responded to the inexorable call of Spirit in their lives. They have prepared themselves to harness the energy of those dancing cells and deploy that energy in the healing of the world's peoples. When the dominant culture said, "Oh, don't go and study that," these graduates said, "We must," and they have. Today we celebrate the courage and faithfulness they have demonstrated, and we release them to dance and fly and teach and heal.
Our keynote speaker today is someone who is familiar to many of us as the Galloping Gourmet. Beyond and since that time, he has authored more than 20 books which have sold millions of copies. He travels often, speaking on the importance of healthy lifestyle.
I suspect that one of the things that I'm somewhat infamous for, most of you graduates probably would not have seen on television. And so, parents, thank you. Just inform your graduates that. A quick, therefore, private word, since the public one doesn't really matter. I've known and loved my wife Trina since we first met at school, when she was 10 and I was 11. I was her second boyfriend. And she's here with us today. Here's the point. This is a woman I love. This is a woman who comes from a family that is predisposed towards being really quite sick. She's had a stroke and a heart attack, she's diabetic and hypertensive, and she's married to me. All of these things are tricky, and they beset many people in our culture today. I didn't know about this. I really loved her, but I didn't understand about lifestyle and how I could surround her in some way and make life a little better. And so what I did was I simply cooked. And I cooked unwisely for 23,000 meals. I'm borderline obsessive compulsive, by the way. And then I understood what it would take. And since that time, I've cooked 18,000 meals with an understanding that you guys celebrate, with your education and now with your lifestyle and with the message that you will take out to the world out there. I cannot tell you how grateful I am that today she is so improved and so well. I'm talking to you today as a person whose heart is with you and who wants to spend years such as I have in your company, I hope. It is, I've got to know, sorry to call the president Dan, but I've got to know Dan to such a level. I said to him, do you would mind if I could take my hat off? And he said, I'll take my hat off. This is the kind of president we will have. You should, by the way, always be nervous if a person turns up to give a commencement speech with 4 pages of handwritten notes and takes his watch off at the same time and then refers to neither. So I want to talk to you today about 2 things that are probably unlikely under these circumstances. Number 1 is a flat stone, and the second one is a needle, a sewing needle, okay? And they're both metaphors, and I'm going to mix them up, which is supposed you're not supposed to do. So let me ask you, first of all, you graduates today, how many of you have ever been by the side of a relatively flat lake or pond and spotted a flat stone and picked it up and skipped it across the water? Please let me see your hand. Isn't that a remarkable human endeavor? I mean, if you pick up something, you search for it, you throw it, it skips across the water, and it sinks. And we get a sense of achievement. And there's so much of us who do it. And it's largely that we're copying somebody else that did it. Was it Dad? Was it your brother, sister, you know, a friend? Somebody else had to do it. It's just not the sort of thing that an average human being passing by a piece of body of water would naturally think about if they had not already seen it take place. Therefore, it is my understanding that you came to Bastia University because you saw somebody skipping a stone across this world and making a difference. And they made a difference from a natural perspective, so much that would be in keeping with the stone and the lake. And in doing that, you saw that and you thought, yes, this I would like to do also. And so you pondered this, and you came to Bastia, and you walked what I now refer to as the Bastia Beach. And in the Bastia Beach, you sought for a flat stone one that you could curl your fingers around and get ready to skip across the rest of your life. Now, I know most of you have gone barefoot over less than flat stones in the reflexology class, but we'll just get past that. This is less excruciating. So, in this we have this flat stone. And the purpose of flat stoning it in the normal sense is that you would skip it many times and perhaps get some distance. That would be that purpose. But in this case, what you have picked up is a skill at Bastia. This is your skill. Whatever your discipline has been, this you will graduate and understand this skill. It fits your desire to go out and heal. It fits your loving commitment to the culture in which we live. It's a wonderful thing, this stone. And that beach is made up of good science and good sense and good history and good outcomes. And you have witnessed all four at Bastia, and this is why this is such an important instrument, this little stone here. But today I want to talk to you about the way you throw that stone each and every time it comes your opportunity to serve another human being. When you do it with a regular stone, you get down in a kind of crouch. You line up the flat part of the stone with the surface of the water. You get your hand back and you fling it with a kind of last-minute twist, and it skids along, drops several times, causing this rippled understanding either side. And it's done, and it sinks away. Now, what I want to ask you to do is I would like to ask you to have this stone today, which will be presented to you along with your diploma, on your desk or in your examining room, wherever you are, to remind yourself each time that this is another time to skip this precious gift that you've been given across the mind of someone who desperately needs it. And to remember, the concept in this case is that this will reach the beach on their side. This is not going to sink away as a message. This is actually going to skip over the surface of their mind, causing ripples of understanding, and reach their beach so that they can reach down and pick up this gift you've given them about understanding and cast it on across this culture in which we live, so that we have multiple impacts of understanding in our culture today. We need this understanding. You have been born for such a time as this. You've been born and equipped with good science and good sense and good history and good outcomes. Now it's going to be your chance to be able to take that on. That's the stone. Let's go. Now let us talk about your lifestyle from this time on. Your whole lifestyle. That's public and private. This is something that you have an energy. This is something that is who you are. You're a healer. This is what you are destined to be. So consider your whole life as a needle, a sewing needle. Now, it can be used, a needle can be used to go up to somebody and poke them with it and say, you should not be doing that. So often we can do that. In our culture, we're surrounded by things that people do that do them harm. Why wouldn't we be critical of those things? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you will simply make holes in our culture and you will not heal. It is better to be a contributor than a critic. We have too many critics in our culture and not enough contributors. And may you as a healer. Now this is how you use the needle. Imagine a needle in front of me. Now, if you take this critical instrument with which you could have needled people, and you turn it up and you look at the eye, and you take your personal faith. Now, what do I mean by personal faith? I wrote this down, and I think it's right. There's a lot that I have written which I have doubts about, but this is your deepest conviction as to what is true and good. This is a mixture of science and the spirit, if you like, and the mind and the body, the whole thing that you are taught at Bastille to combine together. This is everything you know to be true and good. So you take it and you pass that thread of understanding, your understanding, through the eye of the needle. Now it ceases to be an instrument of criticism and becomes an instrument of healing. Now let's take the national flag as an example. Now I know that we have here represented today 12 national flags, well 13 with the United States as well. And I can only speak of my national flag, although, forgive me my accent, but I am an American student, so, American, it says I'm an American student, that's fine. American citizen, as well as my wife Trina and our whole family. And we're proud of that we are today. But that does not mean to say that I do not see tears in the flag that flies over us in the United States. And maybe that you could say that yourself from every nation from which you come today. There are tears. We're not perfect. But rather than stick the needle into the fabric and do nothing about it, we see a portion of the tear in our culture that we feel that we could make a contribution and mend. And we approach that with this needle of our whole life, and we plunge our life through the fabric of our culture. And we come up the other side of the tear. And as we emerge, we are perceived to be as servants who work in the midst of the community. And when we pull it tight with the faithful understanding about what is true and what is good. And we tighten that up, and that's what brings the torn edges of our culture back together, reconciles them, and begins the healing process. That's why I've called this speech today a stitch in time. You know the old familiar phrase, a stitch in time saves 9. If we can literally give ourselves completely so that we ourselves disappear, it's not important. We've made the opportunity, taken the option and presented that to a patient. They received that. You then come up on the other side serving that person and tighten it up so that they have a genuine understanding about what it is that you've done. And the healing begins. This is how it works with the needle. We do have an abundance of tears in our modern culture. But don't take on too much, you guys. You are not, your name is not Obama or Hillary, or McCain. Truth in advertising. You are uniquely you. Don't bite off too much. Receive this as a little phrase which I got for me, and I want to now pass on to you. Do a small thing, and do it well until it's done. You have a real chance of being able to see the option go in, see the outcome come out, and tighten it with understanding, and you see that is a well-done stitch. You have started the process of healing. Don't take on too much. Take on what you need to do. The task is done when your patient understands and can pass it on, when what you have done to them reaches the beach of their understanding and they can then pass it on. And now if I could just conclude by asking you to allow me to go just one level further. The outward attitude as you begin to serve the person that you're about to serve is one thing. But there is also an inner attitude as well, and I call it C3. It's a sequence of 3 words, and it really does go in sequence. Compassion, commitment, and consistency. Those 3 words. In the first place, compassion in the Latin term is compati, and compati means together and suffer. You have a fellowship of suffering with the person in front of you, and you have an urge inside you to be able to help that person. In a body, soul, and mind and spirit connection, we can also see it with eyes of faith as a suffering with God over the ruin of his creation. And in that case, if you would like to see it with me, if in fact you would agree with me just at this moment in time, that there is a creative God who did create all things, including blades of grass and you and me, and when that thing is somehow broken, it breaks the heart of God, the creative nature of the heart of God. And then we are interrupting this great flow of absolutely predictable and ongoing love that our Creator has for us. And we are then moved to be able to help that person who is in trouble. Therefore, we have a fellowship of suffering with God over the ruin of man. In the Greek, it's called splandrisnomai, from which we get the word spleen. It was regarded as the seat of the emotions, this muscle above the stomach. It's a gut reaction, you guys. All I'm asking for you is to, when you sit down and before the door opens and before your patient comes in, you would experience once again that gut reaction to lovingly care for that person who is coming, to together with them suffer because of the ordeal they are going through, and you want to see them well. That is a primary motivation. Commitment becomes second, and I know that you've done this prayer commitment, which sounds a wonderful thing for the other day. It's a declaration of trust to resolve something. And if I may then repeat to you those words again. Do a small thing, and do it well until it's done. It might almost be a sort of a breathed out prayer before the patient comes in to see you. And the last thing is consistency. You know, it's unwise lifestyle choices that have made many people sickened in our culture today. And they got sick because they had repetitive messaging that came through to them, through the media that we have today. Time and time again, they're enjoying to eat this and drink this and do this. And we've already agreed we're not going to be critical of that. Those are people trying to make a living. But they make their living in a manner which sickens other people. So in some sense, your tasking is going to have to be to unwind their understanding of how their lifestyle would live, before you then begin to start to wind on what should be the thing. And therefore, your tasking, for which you have been admirably prepared with your education, is to let them know what harms them and why. That's the unwinding process. And then what heals them and how is the one that winds it on. And so they receive a clear understanding, and then they reach the beach. You know, throughout your career, you will be observed by others, just in the same way as we started this little chat off as throwing that stone across the pond. Other people are going to see you do this with compassion. They're going to see you do it with commitment. And they're going to see you do it consistently, always seeking healing in everything they do. And they're going to want to know from you, where did this happen? How did this happen? Where can I do the same sort of thing? How do you do that? And you will make the best request you will ever make in your life to your alma mater. You will simply say, there is a beach at Bastille where you can pick up a pebble, and they will teach you how to skip it across the minds of people who are sick, and they will come. And they will be exposed to good science and good sense, and good history and good outcome. Now today, you here will receive a diploma and a stone, and together they represent the ongoing gift of healing. And you were born for such a time as this.
For the Bachelor of Science degree and are therefore eligible to have the degree conferred upon them.
I am Mark Keston, Dean of the School of Nutrition and Exercise Science, and I'm proud to read the names of the graduates receiving their Bachelor of Science degrees with a major in Exercise Science. Dr. Church and Hannah Meswell. Samantha Christine Ivy. Megan Dawn Olsen. Alison Roy.
Hello, I'm William Kelleher. I'm chair of the Counseling and Health Psychology Department, and I'm proud to read the names of the graduates receiving Bachelor of Science degrees with a major in health psychology. Rachel Elizabeth Edwards. Thomas P. Forlano. Ryan Starr Huff. Andrea Nicole Johnson. Jennifer M. Leckenby. Rosanna Miller. James W. Nelson. Shayna R. Ketchberg. Jessica Silks. Rebecca Yalia Sorensen. Jolene S. Stokesbury. Aaliyah Marie Wirt.
Hello, my name is Nancy Welliver, and welcome and congratulations. Thanks, you guys. I am currently chair of botanical medicine, but I've only held the position for a short period of time. The former chair, Dr. Robin D. Pasquale, had the great honor to accompany our graduates, our herbal science graduates, for most of their time here at the school. So I'd like to invite her up from the audience to read the names of the graduates. I'm honored, thank you. Casmira Beard. Alexis Durham. Lauren Howell. Janie Yu. John David Metz Jr. Rachel Erin Leary. Andrea C. Martin. Derek M. Popham. Andrea L. Smalley. Brigida Anna Zettel.
I'm Mark Keston, Dean of the School of Nutrition and Exercise Science, and I'm proud to read the names of the graduates receiving their Bachelor of Science degrees with a major in nutrition. Carrie Lynn Boone. Takako Schumer. Nicole Marie Cooper. Danielle R. Davenport. Dory Emmons. Hale Etemajinajat. Maria
Stephanie Michelle Druckman. Janelle Fox.
Please join me in giving a round of applause for my esteemed colleagues and dear friends, Andrew Brandeis and Tara Shelby.
President Church, distinguished trustees, founders,
Andrew.
friends and families,
Andrew.
faculty and staff,
Andrew!
brothers and sisters.
We're naturopaths. We don't have to conform like that. Do it like a naturopath.
Tara, you want me to take an hour and a half to get to know all of these people?
Go ahead and be your authentic self.
Hi. I'm Andrew. And let me just start off by congratulating you for coming here today and taking these steps towards achieving your optimal health goals. I'll be your guide for the next hour and a half, or two, depending on my supervisor. On a journey of the past, present, and future of naturopathic medicine. I'll start in 1970. There was a guy with a foot in the door to the University of Washington Medical School. He was working as an assistant in the rheumatology department, researching cures for arthritis. At the very same time, he had a friend who had her arthritis cured by some sort of doctor. So he went to see this naturopath, having literally no idea what a naturopath was. How'd you do it, he asked. Simple. We detoxed her liver. Dr. Joseph Pizzorno graduated from the National College of Naturopathic Medicine 5 years later, a year before it closed its doors and moved out of town. In the mid-70s, the naturopathic profession was literally on the brink of extinction. The conventional medical system was threatened by our treatments. They were threatened that all it took to cure arthritis was not expensive and invasive steroids, but simply removing the obstacles to cure. At the time, they said things about us like the following, quote, "The scientific pretensions of naturopathic training programs are baseless. There is ample evidence that the basic science courses do not teach students to think critically. Research performed at naturopathic colleges is lacking in scientific rigor and has not investigated common naturopathic claims." This is the world that existed for naturopathic medicine. This is the world that this one guy set out to heal. Through his ideas of science-based natural medicine education, political work, his ability to write books, to raise money, to find qualified faculty, and to attract students, in 1978, Dr. Joseph Pizzorno and 3 of his equally unique friends, Bill Mitchell, Les Griffith, and Sheila Quinn, founded the world's premier naturopathic university. And they paved the reflexology path so that all of us could be here today. Last year proved to the world that naturopathic medicine was science-based and that its therapies were not only safe, but effective, efficient, and sustainable. Because of them, we are here today. Because of them, we have a profession. And because of them, each of us who graduate today, not just the NDs, but the doctors of acupuncture and oriental medicine, and everybody graduating today, will be able to help thousands of patients as we show the world that to practice medicine means to encourage the body to do the healing that it wants to do anyway.
By the way, Joe, whose idea was it to make this program so hard? We learned everything that all the rest of the medical schools in America learn. The policy, no ology left behind. Then we add all the strange, rare, and peculiar naturopathic classes, where we are literally graded on collecting our own urine for 3 days in a row, starving ourselves on elimination diets, and what else?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of things we do. I can't keep track.
We get graded on trying to hear what it is the plants are trying to say to us. We've had 3,242 hours of class, 1,100 hours of clinic, and 10 months of exams. Then there's the overachievers, the dual trackers. The midwives, and the amazing moms and dads. They're pretty good. So when you were going to bed, the acupuncture students were heading to their next class. The midwives just skipped sleeping altogether, proving night after night that for birth, there is no place like home. Did I mention study time? Oh no, I didn't, because that's way too depressing. Oh, and speaking of depressing, we only have 44 days till boards.
So a lot of the people this weekend are still asking me, so what's the difference between you and an MD? How does your education differ? And there's a million ways it's similar and a million ways it's different, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but to me, I think the most important one is that we as naturopaths in our education, we spend a lot less time learning drugs to treat symptoms, and we spend a lot more time learning just a host of therapies to really address the cause of the problem. Now, I've helped a lot of people to overcome a lot of serious illness, and I know that at least 75% of my class is 50% smarter than I am. and 25% more motivated than me at least 15% of the time. So I can only imagine the impact you guys are going to have as you sink your heels in, toss back some ginseng, and prove that it doesn't take overprescribed drug therapy to heal the world. It just takes a passionate and dedicated doctor with a vision of health, a belief in our medicine, and the wisdom to call Dr. Anderson when you screw someone up really badly. It may not look like it, but we take this medicine very seriously. So here is a real serious story about a real serious patient from a real serious student with a really big heart and really big hair.
44-year-old female coming in with nausea. No problem. I get her chart. I see she's been in to see the naturopaths now quite a few times. She's already eating the perfect little diet, sucking on ricin, taking a demulcent, rocking the castor oil packs, and doing contrast hydrotherapy in the shower every morning. In fact, the more I read, the scarier I get. It gets CBC with platelets and diff, electrolytes done, chem screen, TSH with reflex, urine gravity, ketones, serum amylase to creatinine, HCG, pelvic ultrasound, upper GI, endoscopy? Not to mention the list of antiemetics that have been prescribed by her gastroenterologist. Nothing had touched the nausea, and there was no diagnosis. Now I was nervous. So I said, what brings you in to see us today?
Like I have no idea.
I am so sick to my stomach. I have been nauseous for 4 months, and I just can't take it anymore. I started flipping through the chart, and I thought, oh my goodness, where's that button Dr. Neary says we should put under the exam table so when we need to be ejected out of the room, we can press it, and our pager goes off. Okay. So, you're nauseous. Is there something you need to throw up? Her eyes started to fill up with tears. The room got quiet, and I thought, Dr. Brad says, if you just listen, your patients will tell you what's wrong with them. She started to cry a little bit and started mumbling about a dysfunctional relationship she was in, and I knew we need to do some craniosacral therapy. So she laid down on the exam table. I held her feet in my hands. I set my intention for the practice, and I asked her body if it wanted to join me in that. Then I went over and I put one hand over her throat and the other over her heart. Her body started to shake, her breathing became very rapid, and the abuse that woman shared with me that day will never be forgotten. She sat up after the session. She looked at me with a pretty blank stare. So I pretended to hold up a mirror and I said, "Can you see how absolutely beautiful you are right now?" And I reflected her face. Her response? "I'm not nauseous anymore."
Obviously, we're passionate about our medicine, and we believe strongly in it. We also believe that what we know has
value!
Yeah, there's a couple of them. We think it has a lot of value, so we're going to give you, audience, approximately $100 worth of naturopathic care on the house. Supplements not included.
But available in our dispensary.
Number 1, water yourself. Drink plenty of clean water every day. Excuse me.
Nice.
Number 2, eat whole and organic foods. If you can't imagine it growing or grazing in a field, or if you just can't pronounce it, don't put it in your body. Number 3, stretch and sweat every day.
Oh my god, Andrew, you look so ridiculous in front of like 1,000 people right now. But I bet you're sweating.
I've been sweating, Tara, this entire time. It's really that important. Number 4, supplements. Take all the weird supplements, herbs, and remedies given to you by your naturopath. Herbs work.
Really?
Okay. Number 5, play in nature, laugh, and make love.
Moving on to number 6, Adrian.
Number 6, sleep. Get plenty of restful sleep every night.
You know, that actually follows number 5 pretty well.
Third thing that I'm going to proposing.
Yeah, you wouldn't know which interaction it was. Yeah. See if there was a secondary interaction.
What this is a. Remember, I said, if you want to break this up, which one it is, the first thing that I will do is look at my engineering scientific knowledge. Okay. I'm going to just defer what you said just a little bit later. The second thing that I will do is go back to that discussion of a hierarchical. Remember, in any kind of a math, in a function, if you have AD included, usually you will have a main effects A and B before you have AB, right? So in other words, what we do is go back to the main effects, and it says, if any of the main effects were significant, that interaction should be also attached to that, okay? It's called rule of a hierarchy. Okay? So what we're doing is, for example, let's say I'm trying to decide whether this is an AD or BC. And then I look back to the main effects, and the A was very significant, and rest of the main effects were not significant. If that's the case, it's which one is more likely, AD or BC? AD is more likely, right? So that's the second rule that we're going to choose. Look for your science and engineering knowledge. Second is use that hierarchical rules. Okay. Then third will be what he's talking about. That is, those two things are not really telling me anything. I don't know what to think of it. So now you're going to do some kind of ad hoc additional study. It says, I think BC makes more sense. That's my intuition, but I have no proof. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go and then do an experiment that will see whether there is if you have a B and C, does a BC interaction also there or not? You can see that the smaller experiment that you can do to break the tie, whether this is really BC effect or AC effect. Okay. So the third option is going to be saying, let's do more experiment. A little bit of, obviously we're not going to do full-blown experiment, but smaller experiment just to figure out whether my intuition, the direction that I was taking, makes any sense or not. Okay. That's what you're suggesting, right? Okay, so those are kind of 3 rules that we will use as we go through here to really break up this confounding structure that we're seeing because we are doing this fractional factorial. We can't avoid it, but we have some ways that we can break that out. Okay. So next thing that the problem is that next one that we have is, okay, at least I know by doing this, these two are confounded to each other, right? So then what about BD? Well, BD I have to do, again, come up with a structure, and then we will see which one this is confounded with. In fact, this one is going to be confounded with AC. Okay? And CD is confounded with AD. That's what you will find. Okay? I knew that, but the question is, how did you know that? Without even going through it. Well, there is an easy way of figuring that out, which is in page 39. Okay. Page 39 will tell you how to find this confounding structure. Okay, so what are we doing? Well, for this design that we just talked about, 2 to the 4 minus 1, what we did is we borrowed ABC sign to be the D, right? We borrowed the signs of the ABC, signs of this ABC to be D. So we're equating D equal to ABC. So we're confounding these two together, right? So that's how we started. So let's do a simple matrix algebra. What if I multiply D on both sides? Then this side will be D squared, okay? And then this side will be A, B, C, D. But if you have a D squared, D times D, what is the D times D? Look at here. If you multiply this to another D sign, what's going to happen?
All of them will be positive.
Everything will be positive, right? So we call that identity. Identity. How do you get identity? Only way that you will get identity is if you have two identical signs, then multiplication, product will be identity, right? So identity is equal to A, B, C, D. Okay? So now, this is going to tell me all kinds of things. In other words, what it's saying is that A is identical to BCD, right? The BCD sign will be exactly same as sign of A. Minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus. Well, what does it say about B? B is confounded with ACD. So the sign for ACD is exactly same as B. Minus, minus, plus, plus, minus, minus, plus, plus. Right? How about C? C is confounded with A, B, D. Right? Well, D is confounded with A, B, C. That's how we started, right? Now, not only that, now we can break it the other way. What about AB? AB is confounded with CD. Oh, well, then what can we say? AC is confounded with BD. How about AD? AD is BC. Well, let's go to the last one. CD is AB. So that's how we're going to figure this out. Okay, computer figures this out on DX will figure it out, but you know the process that it's going through to figure out exact confounding structure we have in this 2 to the 4 minus 1